I never thought that I'd be making the best ice cream of my life at home and that it would be vegan. But after testing this Ninja Creami Deluxe for more than 6 months now, I would say it's an absolute game changer with a few quirks. This isn't a sponsored video, I bought this with my own money and you'll always get an honest review from me. If you're thinking about buying one of these, then stay tuned. I've got the lowdown, the good things, the bad things, and whether or not it's worth the money. Also, if you're looking for a really easy method to be able to make delicious ice creams in the Ninja Creami Deluxe or the standard model, take a look at my video, which will be linked in the description, where I go over my foolproof method and show you how to implement this with different flavors. If you're new to the Ninja Creami Deluxe, you might not know, but it's basically a frozen treat maker. And it lets you turn almost anything into ice creams, sorbets, gelato, and even smoothie bowls. Unlike a traditional churner, you don't have to freeze your bowl in advance and there's no ice needed. You simply blend, freeze the mixture overnight, and then let the Ninja Creami do its magic. There are a few improvements of the Deluxe model over the standard one. Firstly, the bowl capacity is slightly larger. There's also a half measure mode, which is great for refreezing and rechurning leftovers. There's a redesigned lid, which means that food no longer gets trapped inside, which made it impossible to clean. And it's got the same motor and power with slightly improved buttons and interface at the front. The price has now increased on Amazon, so it was £180 when I bought it, and it's now closer to £250, so do look out for discounts. If after watching this video, you're really interested in purchasing one of these models, I do have an affiliate link in the description below. Firstly, this is what I love about the Ninja Creami Deluxe. This has completely changed how I eat ice cream. I can get premium, luxury, delicious ice cream with whole food plant-based ingredients and no funny additives anytime. I love the fact that the recipes are ridiculously simple, and so is the method. So if you want sorbet from pineapple or pears, then simply freeze them in the container overnight and then let the Ninja do the work the day after. It's brilliant that you don't need to chop and mix or blend all of the ingredients depending on what you're making. You can generally just freeze the whole fruit in the container with some liquid in there and then churn it the day after. I love the fact that this is really easy to clean. The containers and lids are dishwasher safe, and the extra containers are really reasonably priced, so it's so easy to prepare various flavors and have them all in the freezer ready to go. This would be hard to do with a traditional ice cream maker because the bowls are generally very bulky, quite expensive, and it's difficult to use whole fruits in them. I also like the fact that this is fairly compact and fairly countertop friendly. So it generally goes in this corner over here where that little lamp is at the moment. This is great for tinned fruit, frozen fruit, and fresh fruit that may be about to turn. So you can simply freeze it and then use it as ice cream later, which reduces food waste. For recipes that do need a bit of blending first, this pairs beautifully with my Vitamix. This saves me so much money. So I no longer buy expensive premium vegan ice creams, which also means I can skip those extra ingredients that often go into shop bought ice creams, like extra sugars, extra oils, and other hidden nasties. A full tub of this serves about 3 people, so it works perfectly for my family. We're 2 adults and 1 10-year-old. Now on to the things I don't like about this. Firstly, my biggest gripe is the fact that it always takes several spins in order to get the right consistency. It never works first time. Generally at least 3 spins and often a splash of soy milk as well. It does get it right eventually, but it's just something to be aware of. Secondly, this is really, really noisy. It sounds a bit like a jet engine taking off, so it's definitely not a quiet process. Also, I find the add-ins feature to be a bit of a gimmick. If you're not familiar with that, it just means that if, for instance, you wanted to add in some chocolate chips, which you wanted to stay whole in the ice cream at the end, you would make your ice cream and then you would use that add-ins feature to add those ingredients you want to stay whole. However, I never use it because if you were to freeze the remainder of the ice cream to respin later, all of those chunks then become pulverized when you have to respin, and so you end up with little bits all the way through the ice cream, which is not a nice texture or consistency. So I see that as more of a downside than a feature. Next, this is quite heavy and not easily dismantled. So unlike a blender where the top part you would be able to remove and then store it in 2 parts in the cupboard, as you can see here, when you remove this part, the unit still stays the same size. So this is a countertop device unless you've got huge cupboards. Next, I find that even with perfecting techniques, like running the frozen tub under hot water before churning and churning a few times and adding that little soy milk in, you still sometimes get an icy texture. My fix is just adding half a teaspoon of arrowroot powder, which does make it slightly denser, but just gets rid of those ice crystals and gives you a much nicer texture. That might just be a vegan issue, and if you're using full fat cream and sugar, that might not be a problem. Despite my gripes, would I buy this again? Hell yes. This machine has completely changed how me and my family eat ice cream. Even in the autumn and winter, we're still eating ice cream most days, and I know we'll be eating even more of it in the summer. So my final thoughts are, it's the best vegan ice cream that I've ever had. I've tried several different machines. It's a premium product, which I think is at a fair price, but you may want to wait for a discounted deal. And this completely removes the need for me and my family to buy store-bought ice creams, which means it's cheaper, tastier, with healthier ingredients. If you're thinking about getting one after watching this review, then please take a look at my affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you any extra money, but gives me a small kickback, which is helpful for the channel. And don't forget to check out my foolproof Ninja Creami method, which will also be linked in the description. Thanks very much, and see you in the next video.